In this video, I'm going to show you how you can apply a color palette that you've created to an image. So let's say I'm in Triad and I'm playing around with it and I really want to create some kind of intense sort of Triad color. So here I've got my greens, kind of like a yellow green, kind of a bluish purple maybe. Maybe I want to go a little more bluish purple, a little bit more orange. So let's say this is the color palette that I want. I'm going to, if you're on a Mac, it will be Command-Shift-4. And then if you're on your Chromebook, you would use, I believe it's like Shift, Control, and then there's a button with a couple lines and a square. But you're going to want to create a screen capture that is just the colors in that palette. Okay, and then I'm going to go to Photoshop and get this over here. So let's say this is the image I'm working with, and I'm going to open the screenshot that's on my desktop. So if you're on a Mac, save to your desktop. If it's your Chromebook, you'll have to go and pull it up. But when you're in Photoshop, so you will have to do this in Photoshop, so I totally recommend the Mac. Let's say this is the picture that I want to apply that color to. I would go up to the top and I would choose Image Adjustments, and I had to open it, so make sure again that you've opened it. It's a separate tab. And then I'm going to go to Image Adjustments and I'm going to choose Match Color. And then I have to find the source. So this is my image, but I'm going to find that source, which is the screenshot. And of course it's super helpful to rename your images before doing this, but mine defaulted at screenshot. So it's going to apply that color palette that I've created. It will do its best to just kind of meld it into this. Now I can totally play around with the color intensity if I'd like, the luminance. If I fade it, it will kind of fade it to the image. So I don't think I want it to fade, and neutralize might blend it a little bit differently to that image. So I can hit OK. And then if this is the color palette I want to work with, and I'm enjoying it, I would stick with it. Now I'm looking at the palette that I actually created. I'm a little disappointed that that purpley blue just didn't really transfer as well. But I see I have some orange and yellows and greens, a little bit of blue. So it's not quite doing the palette that I wanted. So of course you could go in and adjust things for value if you feel necessary, or you can play around with the hue and saturation and try to get it the way that you want. It's not a perfect science, but it's one way to apply a color palette that you've created and using another tool to try to make it happen.